As Mojtaba Khamenei weighs a U.S. ceasefire plan on his desk, are fresh explosions around Hormuz a warning that Iran will negotiate from the barrel of a gun, not from a place of quiet compromise? When mystery blasts rattle Bandar Abbas and nearby islands on the very night Tehran studies a U.S. proposal, is someone sending a message that the strait will not reopen without a fight? With residents from Qeshm to Sirik reporting up to 6 blasts, roughly 40 seconds apart, are these simply air defenses at work, or the first shots of a new phase that could shatter the fragile ceasefire? As state-linked outlets hint at a clash with the enemy off Qeshm, did Iranian forces briefly trade fire with U.S. assets near the corridor that's supposed to reopen the world's oil lifeline? If the IRGC says it fired warning shots at unauthorized vessels after U.S. destroyers probed the strait, is Tehran enforcing the ceasefire, or rewriting the rules of who can even enter Hormuz? All of this plays out as Iran studies a U.S. plan to end the war and reopen Hormuz, raising the question: will exploding skies help push Tehran toward a deal, or convince it to dig in deeper?
You're facing an opponent right now in Iran that has refused to submit. You seem optimistic now that you may be closer to a deal. What's different about this moment now than in other moments where a deal has seemed close?
Well, why do you say they refused to submit? You don't know that. You don't know what's going on.
They were firing on U.S. ships a few days ago.
Yeah, no, a few days ago is a long time ago. You know, in the world of war, a few days ago. No, they want to make a deal badly. And we'll see if we get there. If we get there, they can't have nuclear weapons. You know, it's very simple. But what's not to submit? So they had a Navy with 159 ships, and now every ship is blown to pieces and lying at the bottom of the water. They had an Air Force, lots of planes, and they don't have any planes. They don't have any anti-aircraft. They don't have any radar left. Their missiles are mostly decimated. They have some. They have probably 18, 19%, but not a lot by comparison to what they had. And their leaders are all dead. So I think we won. Now it's only a question of, look, if we left right now Iran, it would take them 20 years to rebuild. You would call that, we're in good shape, right?
Fantastic.
We're in good shape. And now we're doing well. Now we have to get what we have to get. If we don't do that, we'll have to go a big step further. But with that being said, they want to make a deal. We've had very good talks over the last 24 hours, and it's very possible that we'll make a deal.
So,
yeah,
Mr.
please.
President, thank you, Mr. President. Good to see you. What are the status of these talks? Said they're very good. Just give us some insight as to where we are with them at this point.
And we've had some good talks before, as you know.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the next day, they're like, they forgot what happened. You know, they're proud, like these guys are proud. Nobody more proud than these guys. Sometimes they fight on pride because, you know, they're injured, they're hurt. No matter how great you are, you get hit by somebody else that looks like them. It's very tough, but they have great pride. These people have great pride. The others do too. Enemies have great pride. We went into Venezuela. Smart people, great people. They have a really strong military. We won it very quickly, and we have a fantastic. It's been a great thing for Venezuela. The people are really happy. They're dancing in the streets because they have a lot of money coming in through the big oil companies that are all moving in. I was with ExxonMobil last night. The chairman was here, and we were talking about Venezuela, along with a lot of them. Chevron, they were all here last night. They all want to go there and elsewhere. We just hit a new high in the stock market. The stock market's the highest it's ever been. And I expected that the market would be down 20, 25%. I was willing to do that to get rid of a crazy country. Crazy. The people, look, you know, you talk about regime change. Their first level leaders are dead. Their second level leaders are dead. Some of their third level leaders are dead. I call that regime change. But I thought we'd be down maybe 20%, and we're up. The stock market's higher now than when we started this war. And I thought oil prices would go to $200, $250. It's at $100 now.
Earlier, Iran's president warned that certain parties at home and abroad are trying to break the nation apart, leaving viewers to wonder whether these late-night blasts are pressure from outside or a power struggle within.
They imagined that people would take to the streets and this government would be overthrown. They openly say they want to break the country apart. They aren't even ashamed to say it. For example, the U.S. president himself says, "We'll be pirates, we'll make good money as pirates." to create pressure so that our people become dissatisfied and pour out into the streets. The whole world is in this situation. In their cities and countries, inflation and high prices have forced people to protest. We, who are at war, who they inflicted many damages, well, it's normal that we would face some problems, and we have. But your presence, your efforts, your solidarity, and the people have in fact thwarted their enemies' plans. To make sure everyone can use electricity, we don't need to cut anything off. We should all turn off any unnecessary lights. If we consume wisely, we can supply many of these essential forms of energy or services to the producers without creating problems for them. We have only one choice. Either accept the people and stay with them, or surrender and bow our heads to the enemy. We will stay with the people and will not bow our heads. We want nothing from this world. We want nothing from this America. We seek only our legal rights under international law. We don't wish to step outside that framework. If the world claims to stand for what is right, then treat us according to international law. Together, we will walk this path. I met with my dear leader. We spoke for nearly 2.5 hours. First, I must tell you about his perspective, his way of interacting. He was truly a sincere and humble person. For a leader to interact so humbly with someone, he truly carried himself that way. I could say a lot, but I believe unity and cohesion matter more than anything else. And if we've lasted this long, it's because of our unity and cohesion. All Iranian people want what is best for Iran, except for those who have become traitors and have completely lost their identity. A true Iranian wants Iran. No Iranian wants a disgraced or humiliated Iran. No Iranian can tolerate their children being bombed like this and then sit back and justify it. Or to put it another way, no human being, not just an Iranian, accepts such barbaric acts from anyone. But there are some behind those so-called television screens who sit around talking nonsense and making so-called intellectual interpretations. Shame on them.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.